We often look at the animal kingdom as operating purely on basic instincts, just eating, sleeping, and surviving. But the data? It tells a vastly different story. Today, we're looking at a world of profound emotion, calculated deception, medical ingenuity, and literally city-hacking brilliance.
So what exactly happens when an animal learns to talk and experiences profound loss? Well, we're starting with Coco, the very first gorilla ever taught human sign language. She was incredibly expressive. She loved flipping through magazines and signing the names of the animals she recognized. And in 1984, she did something absolutely remarkable. She actually asked her researchers for a pet cat.
Now, researchers tried a bit of a workaround at first, giving her a stuffed animal instead of a living pet. But Coco just looked at it, signed the word sad, and pushed it away. It brilliantly illustrates how clearly she could communicate her disappointment. So the researchers eventually let her pick from a litter of rescued kittens. She chose a gray Manx, named him All Ball, held him gently, and actually played catch with him every single day.
But then, tragedy struck. That December, All Ball got outside and was hit by a car. When Coco was given the news, she went completely silent for 10 long minutes. Just 10 minutes of absolute agonizing silence before breaking down into these agonizing cries. It was a grief so profound that she remembered it for the rest of her life. Even in her final years, whenever she saw pictures of cats that looked like All Ball, she would still sign the word cat.
Which brings up a really fascinating question. How deep does animal grief really go when they lose a partner? Like, can animals actually die of a broken heart? As we look across different species, we see that the physical reality of loss in the animal kingdom is just staggering.
The physiological toll this grief takes is intense. Take shingleback lizards, for example. Every year, a pair finds each other in a massive desert. If one dies, the survivor stays right by the body, constantly nudging it as if to wake their partner up. They absolutely refuse to eat and refuse to leave, even if there's danger nearby. Or look at mute swans. The survivor will charge at their deceased partner in a bussing pose for hours, desperately trying to wake them. Once they realize their mate is actually gone, they enter extreme stress, quietly leave the flock, isolate, and die within months. But prairie voles? They're on a whole other level. After mating, their brains lock on with skyrocketing oxytocin and dopamine. They literally get addicted to their mate. Losing their partner causes such a sudden withdrawal that they suffer severe brain damage, their bodies systemically shut down, and they die shortly after.
Let's pivot slightly and look at the primal pharmacists, nature's first doctors. You might think treating wounds is an exclusively human invention, but get a load of this step-by-step procedure used by the Sumatran orangutan. When they get a bad cut, they track down a specific vine called ochre kuning. They chew the leaves to extract the juice, rub that juice directly onto the wound, and then apply the chewed-up paste right over it. It acts as a perfect poultice, completely preventing infection and healing the cut in just a few days. It's so effective that locals actually watch the orangutans do this, and they've used that exact same plant to treat malaria for centuries. Absolutely wild, right?
And with its first aid or preventative care, animals are incredibly proactive. Take Amazon parrots. They start every single morning by eating a specific layer of river clay. Why? Because their daily diet of seeds and green fruits is packed with deadly alkaloid toxins. The clay literally absorbs the toxins in their gut before they can hit the bloodstream, so they safely pass it. Then you have the monarch butterfly. When a female realizes she's infected with a parasite that stops her babies from flying, she actively hunts down milkweed with high cardinalide toxins. She essentially mathematically doses her eggs, allowing just enough poison to soak in to wipe out the parasite without harming the baby inside. It's safe to say animals have absolutely mastered proactive treatments.
Okay, let's move on to some street smarts and scams. We're talking about animal master manipulators.
Turns out, nature's best liars pull off some incredible cons. The drongo bird, for instance, spends all day watching meerkats and mongooses dig for food. When the mark finds something tasty, the bird mimics their exact danger warning sound. The panicked animal bolts, drops its meal, and the bird swoops in to steal it. And to avoid getting caught, the bird cycles through over 50 different alarm calls. Talk about a master of disguise. Then we have the Photorus firefly, a literal romance scammer. Every firefly species has a secret flashing code, but this female mimics the exact flashes of other species. She lures the male in with a fake mating signal and, well, eats him the exact second he lands. Finally, the coral grouper. It does a little shimmy dance pointing down at rocks to recruit an octopus. The octopus crawls in to flush the hiding fish out, while the grouper blocks the exit. They share the meal, that is, until one of them decides to double-cross the other and eat the whole thing by themselves.
Next up, hacking the human city. Let's look at some brilliant urban adaptation. 1.3 million. That is the staggering, rebounded population of Florida alligators today. When urbanization wiped out most of their natural swamps, they didn't just fade away. No, they successfully brought themselves back from the brink of extinction by cleverly moving right into our man-made residential lakes and even our backyard pools. For them, it's actually a massive upgrade. The lakes are warmer, there are way fewer predators, and an all-you-can-eat buffet is pretty much always available.
And speaking of brilliant adaptation, we have to talk about the Japanese crow intersection hack. These crows absolutely love walnuts, but the shells are way too hard for their beaks. So what do? They fly over to busy city intersections, wait for a red light, and drop the walnuts right in front of the waiting cars. Then, they just wait patiently for the green light so the cars drive over and crush the shells for them. Once the light turns red again, they fly down and safely retrieve their snack. They're literally leveraging our traffic systems to do the heavy lifting.
And here's another fun number, 1,700. Back in 1989, Pier 39 in San Francisco was getting repaired, so all the boats had to temporarily leave. Seeing an opportunity, a single male sea lion swam in and started lounging on the empty wooden docks. Well, a few weeks later, dozens followed, then hundreds. It peaked at a massive pileup of 1,700 sea lions that permanently took over and turned a completely rundown pier into a world-famous tourist attraction. Real estate at its finest.
Finally, let's zoom out to the big picture and look at how animals are saving our shared planet. Now, you might not know this, but 50% of the Earth's oxygen, literally half of the air we breathe, comes directly from ocean phytoplankton. These tiny surface organisms are quite literally keeping us alive, and as we're about to see, their existence relies entirely on sharks keeping the food chain perfectly balanced.
If sharks were to suddenly vanish, this terrifying domino effect kicks in. Because sharks are at the very top of the food chain. Without them, big fish populations would absolutely explode. These overpopulated big fish would then wipe out all the small fish. And without small fish around to eat it, algae completely takes over and suffocates the coral reefs. When the reefs die, we lose 25% of all marine life because they simply have nowhere to live. But the absolute scariest part? That unchecked algae explosion kills off the oxygen-producing phytoplankton. Without it, the air would get so thin that humans and most land animals would slowly suffocate. Kind of a big deal, right?
But it gets even crazier, because even in death, sharks are saving us. They act as the ultimate deep-sea carbon sink. When sharks die, their massive bodies sink to the ocean floor, dragging down huge amounts of carbon that they absorbed over their entire lifetime. This actually plays a massive, active role in slowing down climate change.
Yet, despite their massive importance, their survival is in jeopardy. On one side, we have sharks, who have been swimming in the world's oceans since before trees even existed, successfully surviving 5 mass extinctions. And on the other side, we have humans. In just 50 years, human activity has managed to do what 5 mass extinctions couldn't: push these ancient, planet-sustaining predators right to the brink of extinction. We're comparing hundreds of millions of years of perfectly balanced survival against just 50 years of devastating human impact.
So, I'll leave you with that final thought to chew on. If animals can experience heartbreaking grief, practice complex medicine, run elaborate scams, brilliantly exploit our modern cities, and sustain the very oxygen we breathe, isn't it time we redefined what it means to be intelligent? Understanding the incredible depths of the animal kingdom is really the first step to truly respecting it. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning what you think you know about the world around you.